Bedtime with Mrs. Honeybee. Today, we'll be exploring the world of Star Wars. We're going to meet my friends Baby Yoda and Mandalorian
I could use a crew member of your ability.
on our adventure.
It seems like a straightforward operation.
They're so excited to see you. All you have to do is close your eyes, get cozy, and listen to the sound of my voice. Mrs. Honeybee will be your guide.
They're providing the plan and firepower, just like the good old days.
Let's begin. Close your eyes and imagine the feeling of floating, weightless. You are standing before a dashboard full of buttons, levers, and gadgets curved out around you. The buttons are all different shapes and feel warm from the lights flashing within them. The colors are mesmerizing. You point your finger out to push one prominent silver button that is easily within your reach. What does this do? You push it slowly, as if to give yourself time to react to whatever will happen. You hear engine sounds rumble beneath your feet, and you can feel the ship slowing down. It's dark and cool where you stand, and there's a seat behind you. You sit down comfortably and look up from the curving, flashing dashboard. There's an incredible sight of nothingness before and all around you. You are looking into the far reaches of outer space through a curved windshield that follows the length of the dashboard. Looking all the way to your right, then your left, there's only blackness. The blackness looks like a thick blanket laying over all that you can see, and that is all you can see. This thick blanket of blackness is dotted with billions of tiny, twinkling stars that seem to be flashing on and off in silvery white. You are at the controls of a massive spaceship flying through outer space. You are in the world of Star Wars, in a galaxy far, far away. Just then, you hear all the buzzing mechanical sounds from the dashboard wind to silence and turn completely off. All the lights from the dashboard go out immediately. You are completely still in total darkness, with only the twinkling blinking at you. What happened? The spaceship is turned completely off. It slows to a weightless stillness that you've never felt before. An orbit carries you so slowly that you cannot tell you're moving at all. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold the stillness in your chest and focus on the feeling of being held by the nearly imperceptible orbit. Then breathe out through your mouth. Let's figure out how to turn this spaceship back on. As you're studying the dashboard, you sense movement coming from beneath the dashboard to your left. You look in that direction and see a very small, very friendly, shadowy figure waddling slowly toward the dashboard. Who is that? From the light of the twinkling stars, you see a tiny, wrinkled, three-fingered hand reach up as tall as it can to push a series of buttons on the left side of the dash. One blue light on that same side starts to flicker. Then, one by one, everything on the dash lights back up to their full, mesmerizing color. The inside of the spaceship now lights up and you can see the figure more clearly. It's Baby Yoda. It has been in the ship with you the whole time, but you were not able to see it in the darkness. You get up from the captain's chair and bend down to his tiny size to thank it for helping you. Crouched down, you can see its big dark eyes and big pointy ears flopping down. Baby Yoda squeaks a friendly squeak and points behind you. You look back to see Mandalorian is with you too. He is standing at the back of the ship, completely covered by his silvery steel armor. Though you cannot see his face, you know he is friendly and here to help you, along with Baby Yoda.
I don't know if you heard, but the Empire is gone.
As you stand up tall, he walks over to you stiffly in his steely armor and hands you a small metal object. Mandalorian stands in front of you holding out a steel signet that both he and Baby Yoda are also wearing. He reaches out to pin it to your shirt. Looking down to your chest as he pins it on you, you can see the rhinoceros-like horn and the face of a mudhorn.
I like those odds. Beskar, let's see the puck.
You are now part of their clan, flying this spaceship through a galaxy far, far away. Your first task as part of this special clan is to land this spaceship on the beautiful sanctuary planet Sorghum, which you can help keep Baby Yoda safe and relax peacefully. Your first task as part of this special clan is to land this spaceship on the beautiful sanctuary planet Sorghum, where you can help keep Baby Yoda safe and relax peacefully.
Well, then I don't know if I want your help.
Sitting back in the captain's chair of this massive spaceship, looking out into the endless twinkling blackness before you, you reach out to place your left hand on the handle of the lever, then your right hand on another lever, both right out in front of you.
What's your cut?
To your left, Mandalorian nods his head to let you know you're doing a great job. Baby Yoda is standing tiny to your right. They both trust you to land the ship.
You have a land speeder or speeder bike that I could hire?
You are quickly approaching Sorghum and can now see that there's a thin layer of clouds that form the atmosphere. You push the lever forward with your right hand and pull the left lever back toward you. As you slowly lower the ship with the controls, you move smoothly through the puffy layer of clouds. The soft whiteness surrounds you. Then all of a sudden, a brilliant sunshine lights everything up, bright. You are now under the layer of clouds, so close to the planet that you can see the vivid green colors are lush forests and the vivid blue colors are lakes. Continuing downward, you feel a quick dropping sensation in your belly, so you pull back on the lever in your left hand to slow the massive spaceship down. You come to a floating stop and hover over a serene, grassy clearing amidst the forests. As you slowly hover closer and closer to the ground, you can see the dense leaves blowing backward from the powerful force of your spaceship landing on solid ground. With a gentle rocking motion back and forth, you land successfully. You turn everything back off with another push of the silver button on the dash and stand up out of the captain's chair. Mandalorian leads the way out of the ship and you follow him, curious. As you walk hurriedly behind him to catch up, he tells you that Sorghum is a pleasant planet full of forests, lakes, and harmonious people who live relaxing lives. This will be a calm place to protect and relax with Baby Yoda. The spaceship door quietly hisses open, split from the middle, and disappears. A rush of warm, sunny air wraps around you like a hug. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold the sunny air calm in your expanded chest. Then breathe out through your mouth. Standing in the open doorway between Mandalorian, big and steel on your left, and Baby Yoda, little and wrinkled on your right, you feel safe and excited to explore this planet. Looking out over this beautiful place, you motion to follow Mandalorian, who hops down off the spaceship onto the flattened grass. He reaches out a leather-gloved hand to hold yours as you hop down. He then picks up Baby Yoda and holds it in his armored arms as he walks stiffly toward a small group of people that have formed around the spaceship. You can see Baby Yoda's brown robe softly draping in the breeze. You follow behind them. The gigantic spaceship reflects the bright sunshine as it sits heavy on the soft green grass, surrounded by dark green trees and crystal blue lakes. Mandalorian sets Baby Yoda down on the ground so he can address the questioning crowd. Baby Yoda barely reaches Mandalorian's steel-plated ankles as it wobbles itself to a still stance. While Mandalorian explains that Baby Yoda needs to hide on this peaceful, secluded planet, he keeps a distance from the people he's speaking to and holds himself rigidly tall. You feel safe here among these people, but you continue to watch how Mandalorian interacts with them. Then suddenly, Baby Yoda darts out as fast as its tiny legs can, excitedly, toddling toward the villagers with open, reaching arms. When it finally gets to the smiling crowd, tiny step after tiny step, one of the children in the group bends down to pick Baby Yoda up and hold it in a squeezing hug, rocking gently from side to side. You look back at Mandalorian, who hasn't moved at all. You're not able to see his face under all of his armor, so you cannot tell if he's smiling. Looking back at the villagers, they are taking turns holding Baby Yoda, who is happily smiling as it is passed lovingly around for everyone to see and say hello to. Following in Baby Yoda's tiny steps, you walk slowly over to the friendly villagers. Everyone is dressed in what looks like colorful mismatched rags that have been patched together. The villagers are excited to greet you. They hug and wave you a welcoming hello. One villager points to the signet pinned to your chest and asks, "What is that?" Mandalorian is now standing next to you holding Baby Yoda again.
The sun is about to set, and we'll be leaving soon. When we return, we're coming in hot.
You trace your fingers around the pin. It has been worn by the sun and seems to shine just as brightly. Standing together, you, Mandalorian, and Baby Yoda present your matching signets to the villagers. Mandalorian responds, "It's the symbol of our clan of 3. It means that we stick together and help each other."
I'm leaving him here, traveling with me. That's no life for a kid.
Focus your attention on how your body feels in this moment. Mandalorian places a thick brown cloak over you that extends all the way down each arm, each leg, and has a cape in the back that goes down to the floor. He explains that this cloak will help you develop awareness of your own body, which is your best defense, and is the first step of putting on the armor. Mandalorian then hands you a pair of black boots with silver metal soles. Focus your attention on your feet. Your feet strongly support you as they hold you up steadily. Imagine the bottoms of your feet are plates of solid metal like these boots. Your ankles are sturdily supported by the black leather of the boots that are tightly secured with metallic fasteners. You tuck down the brown cloak into the tops of the boots and stomp your feet against the wooden floor of the hut. You tuck the brown cloak into the tops of the boots and stomp your feet against the wooden floor of the hut. You can feel the extra strength. If you ever need it, these boots have magnetized soles so you can stick to metal surfaces. Next, Mandalorian hands you dark gray steel plates to go over your knees. Next, Mandalorian hands you a silver metal chest plate that will wrap all the way around your torso and help strengthen your spine. Imagine the magnetic force from the bottom of your boots traveling up through your legs, to your hips, and finally all the way up your spine to your neck, strengthening and lengthening your spine as tall as you can, as if it was reaching toward a powerful magnet high above your head. Once you secure the chest plate around your torso, take a big breath in through your nose. Feel your strong breath fill your lungs with air and expand your chest out as much as you can. Then breathe out through your mouth, using your belly muscles, which are strengthened by this chest armor, to push all the air back out. The magnetic force pulls your neck up straight and brings your attention to your shoulders, which are opened and resting strong, as far from your ears as possible. On each of your shoulders, Mandalorian locks in a dark gray metal shoulder pad that curves along in perfect form to your shoulder. Imagine each of your arms dangling freely from your steel-plated shoulders. Bring your attention to your wrists and your hands. Wiggle each of your fingers and your thumbs and feel all your wrist and arm muscles activate your movement. Mandalorian hands you black leather gloves that have silver metal supports for each finger like a skeleton hand. Slipping your hand into the glove, the snug black leather extends past your wrist and goes all the way to your elbows. You carefully put on the other glove up to your elbow. As you do this, Mandalorian explains that these gloves hold canisters like the one hooked onto the chest plate around your torso. When you push a button on your tool belt, flames come out of each of the 3 jetpack canisters, and the force of the flames allows you to launch in the air like a rocket. He then stands back and asks you to try it out. You excitedly align one of your gloved fingers with the button on your tool belt and push it gently. You can feel the rumble of the jetpack at your back and on each of your arms. You strengthen your elbows and hold your hands towards the ground as roaring flames propel you up into the air, hovering just below the hut ceiling. You are able to control the flames with the button, so you push it again and the jetpack slowly lowers you back down to the floor. Lastly, but most importantly, Mandalorian places a flamed steel helmet over your head. It is important to remember that when you wear the helmet, your mind must be clear so you can best utilize all the tools within the armor. Take a moment to clear your mind and focus on how strong your entire body is. As you look out of the T-shaped visor, you can see the outline of Mandalorian in red. He explains that within the helmet, there are tiny robots that help enhance your vision. One of those enhancements is heat-seeking radar that helps you see creatures that might be very far away or invisible to the human eye. You are now ready to explore the misty, dense forest with Baby Yoda and Mandalorian. Before you leave, Baby Yoda waddles up to you and knocks his 3-fingered hand against your steel knee plate. It makes a loud clanging sound and you feel fortified by the armor. Before you leave, Baby Yoda waddles up to you and knocks his 3-fingered hand against your steel knee plate. It makes a loud clanging sound and you feel fortified by the armor. You turn around to walk back out of the hut door, creaking the wood plank floor even more with each of your armored steps. Right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. You hop down from the wooden porch and Mandalorian steps alongside.
I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion.
You're outside of the hut with a group of huts where the villagers of Sorghum live. In front of you, there's a dark green horizon of trees that meet the cloudless skyline. As the bright late afternoon sun shines down on the streams that leads into the forested horizon like pathways, water evaporates and hangs misty under the dense treetops. Mandalorian has a small device in his hand. He pushes a button on it, then waits. Where's Baby Yoda? You hear a whooshing sound zoom up from around the hut behind you, and a sleek steel pod zips to your other side and hovers above the ground. You can see that it's a pod for Baby Yoda to fly alongside you and Mandalorian. Mandalorian places Baby Yoda in his flying pod, wearing its thick, soft brown robe. Then you and Mandalorian begin to walk into the forest with Baby Yoda zooming behind you. As you approach the forest, the dense treetops block out the brightly shining sun, so you push a button to open the T-shaped visor. A rush of cool, refreshing forest air winds through your helmet, and you can smell the damp, mossy earth squishing beneath your steel feet. Take a deep breath in of the fresh air through your nose. Hold it still in your armored chest and breathe out through your mouth. The forest quietly hums with life that isn't visible. You can hear faraway chirps of singing birds as they fly overhead. You can hear frogs croaking, then splashing into the streams as they trickle over pebbles on their way to the lakes. Mandalorian has his visor up, so you put your visor back up to see if the helmet helps you to see what's invisible to the human eye. Your visor closes over your eyes, and your vision lights up with dotted red outlines of life hiding all around you. You can see the outline of a deer deep in the forest, tucked behind a round tree trunk. You can see the outline of microscopic moths fluttering around the sparse beams of sunlight peeking through the treetops. You look to the ground and can see the outline of a small animal busily digging below the ground. You continue walking through the misty forest in awe of all that lives in this beautiful place. As you're calmly walking through the forest, you begin to see a bright red outline of a gigantic horned creature in the distance that is heading towards you through the trees. The outline of its head looks like a rhino with a pointy horn protruding from its nose. It's the size of a dinosaur with massive elephant-like feet that are stampeding through the trees. You can see the flying outline of birds fleeing from the treetops as this creature barrels through the forest. Mandalorian tells you to use your jetpack to get to safety high above the trees while he fights off this creature. You quickly align your gloved finger with the button on your tool belt and push it. You can feel the rumble of the jetpack at your back and on each of your arms as the dinosaur creature approaches. You strengthen your elbows and hold your hands toward the mossy ground as roaring flames propel you up into the air, just missing the charge of the creature. You are safely above the treetops and can see the Mandalorian darting through the trees below, evading the creature, and Baby Yoda's pod hiding in the tall forest grass below. It doesn't seem like Baby Yoda has any way to protect itself, so you can activate your magnetic boots to pull its steel pod up to where you are, safely high above the treetops. Hovering in place with your jetpack, you kick your boots together to activate the magnet and slowly pull Baby Yoda's pod up out of the tall grass to you. You saved it. It's now out of danger, floating above the trees with you. As you breathe a sigh of relief in and then out, Baby Yoda's pod hisses open, and you can see it looks worried at Mandalorian below. Mandalorian is trying everything he can to keep the creature back. He's using his flamethrower to try to scare it away, his wrist rockets that shoot through the air, whistling to try to distract it. Nothing is working. Just then, you see both of Baby Yoda's wrinkled three-fingered hands lift up out of the pod, and it makes a motion pushing towards the air. Baby Yoda's eyes are narrowed, and it seems to be focused intently. You look back down at Mandalorian fighting the creature below and see the gigantic, formidable creature being held back by an invisible force that is even stronger than it is. This creature that was able to tear down trees with its stampeding feet is struggling against something that you cannot even see with your high-tech helmet. You look back at Baby Yoda, whose pushing motion is getting stronger, so strong that it's pulling you, magnetized to the pod. Is Baby Yoda holding the creature back with some kind of magical force to protect Mandalorian? You look back down at the dinosaur creature, and it has exhausted itself completely, struggling against the invisible force. It gives one last whimper before it turns around to slowly limp away, back to its hiding place on the other side of the forest. At the same time, Baby Yoda's wrinkled hands relax down by its side. It looks up at you with its big, dark, cheerful eyes and an even bigger smile. Baby Yoda was able to protect Mandalorian. You look back down to Mandalorian below, who is sitting on the mossy earth of the forest floor, astonished at what just happened. The sun is now setting, a beautiful orange glow casts through the treetops, and the mists glisten as it hangs in the air under the trees. Mandalorian gets up off the ground, dusts himself off, and you three begin your trek back to the village. As you make your way back through the peaceful forest, you come upon one of the many streams that wander through the forest. The water is crystal clear, and you can see your armored reflection in the surface as it flows through the forest. Baby Yoda's pod again hisses open, and you can see it reaching for something. Its pod zooms quickly in the direction of its reach. The pod arrives at the shore of a lake with a small waterfall trickling down into the stream. It hops out of its pod and waddles its tiny feet to the water. Baby Yoda again holds out its wrinkled, three-fingered hand, narrows its eyes, and seems to be focused intently. This time, it makes a sweeping motion to its left in the opposite direction that the water is flowing. With its swipe left, the lake ripples in the opposite direction, and the sound of the trickling waterfall ceases. Baby Yoda can use its focused mind and its outward reach to change its surroundings, protect itself or its clan. A fish flops out of the water against the suddenly changed current, and Baby Yoda is off toddling toward the flopping fish, struggling against a slippery grasp to hold it still. You and Mandalorian giggle as Mandalorian picks Baby Yoda up to put it in its pod. On the rest of the walk back, Mandalorian explains that Baby Yoda is the only one of his species on all planets, in all galaxies that we know of. Baby Yoda has special powers, but no one really knew the extent of them. Looking back at Baby Yoda, you are struck by its ability to connect to people despite being the only one of its kind in a strange place. Instead of feeling lonely, Baby Yoda knows it can reach out its little hand with kindness and someone will be there. It seeks connection through imagination, kindness, and gentle touch, even if he cannot communicate directly. This makes you remember the way Baby Yoda ran toward the villagers with open arms fondly, and it inspires you to have a similar approach to the world. Beneath all of this armor, you have everything you need to live as Baby Yoda does, with imagination, kindness, and softness. Inspired to remain soft, once you get back to your hut, you decide to remove all of your armor to find strength and softness and use your mind and imagination for good like Baby Yoda. You are out on the wood porch in front of the hut where you will stay for the night. You sit down comfortably on a soft, colorful puff that sits facing the center of the huts where the villagers are starting a campfire. Before you remove the steel armor, you remember that its power will always be with you if you ever need it. Even if it's not on, it's there for you. First, you use both hands to remove the helmet. The helmet has taught you to keep a clear, focused mind. Carrying that ability with you, you now want to relax your mind and let your thoughts go just as easily as they came into your mind. Imagine that your mind is one of the flowing streams of the forest. You can determine the direction of the current, just like Baby Yoda, but its softness remains. Then focus your attention on relaxing your cheeks, your teeth, and your eyebrows. Make them as squishy soft as the mossy floor of the forest you walked on. Your shoulders that were once solid steel, strongly holding your dangling armored arms, can now relax and open comfortably backwards. Imagine your shoulders are as open as Baby Yoda's reaching, loving arms. You remove the gloves from each hand, pulling finger by finger out of the steel reinforced leather to feel the cool air softly wrap around them. You let your fingers wiggle and rest comfortably by your side. As you unlock your chest plate from your torso, take a deep breath of the dusky evening air in through your nose. Imagine busting open the chest armor with how expanded your chest is, full of fresh air. Then breathe out through your mouth and slide the armor off as you feel your belly soften. Next, you unlatch the tool belt from your hips as you feel your spine strongly allowing your muscles to be squishy. Bring your attention to each leg. Focus on relaxing all of your strong leg muscles as you unlock your knee pads and remove your steel-soled boots. Sitting there on the porch, you hear a crackling campfire spark up and the rustle of the villagers who are gathering around it for the night. The sun has fully set and given way to a blanket of twinkling stars that line the purple sky. You begin to remove the brown cloak from your shoulders, but decide to keep it on. The cloak reminds you to always have awareness of your body so you can be kind to it and give it what it needs, whether it needs to practice its strength or relax into its softness. Baby Yoda hops its tiny wrinkled robed legs up onto the porch to sit with you in perfect silence. It reaches over to you and gently touches your arm. Without saying anything, you know it has reminded you that you have a powerful ability in your mind and your imagination if you focus on being kind, gentle, and connecting to the world around you. That is just as strong, if not stronger, than all that the armor taught you about strength. Baby Yoda reaches out one of its wrinkled fingers and points it in the direction, leaving it there. You instinctively raise your pointed, softened finger to meet his and experience a quiet, gentle connection. You feel so thankful in this moment, and your eyes are heavy as you relax in front of the fire. Looking up to the stars again, Right before you close your eyes, you notice that the planet Sorghum has 2 moons. It is a doubly magnificent view as you close your eyes to rest. Always remember that Mrs. Honeybee believes in you. You are special and you are loved. I can't wait to see you again.